Hi again, everybody. It's your old pal, the History Nerd. I am finally back in the man cave, and in this video, we are going to unbox, review, and talk about the history of my brand spanking new Stetson Temple Fedora hat that pays tribute to the same hat that Harrison Ford wore in his iconic portrayal of adventurer and archaeologist Indiana Jones. So, in the words of Mr. T, let's quit the jibber jabber.
Jibber jabber? I don't jibber jabber.
And let's get busier than a $2 hooker having a BOGO sale. So, my friends, I know it has been a long time since I have posted a video. The reason for that is I got a crap ton of hat, folks. I don't know how many hats y'all want me to buy. Stetson does not sponsor me. None of the hats that I reviewed were given to me for free. I bought every single damn one of them. I don't really need another hat. But more importantly, Mrs. History Nerd, as this graphic will demonstrate, more importantly, she believes that I have enough hats, and I was scared to death to bring another hat into the History Nerd household. But last week, I was in New Orleans, Louisiana, one of my favorite towns, a place that my family and I visit for weekend trips often. And whenever I am in New Orleans, I visit the iconic hat store, Meyer The Hatter, located on St. Charles Avenue. I did a pretty in-depth report about Meyer The Hatter in my video about the Stetson Whippet hat. So if you're interested, go and watch that video. But in short, Meyer The Hatter is the South's largest hat store. It was founded in 1894, and it's run today by a 101-year-old World War II veteran named Sam Meyer and his family. I don't think Sam at 101 is there a whole hell of a lot. He's there from time to time. The family runs it. They do a great job. And look, if you're into hats, you need to go visit Meyer The Hatter if you're in New Orleans. You walk in the door, you get great customer service. They are attentive to you. They're saying, what can we help you with? They will help you find the perfect hat. They have a huge inventory. Yes, it's easy to just mail order a hat, but you don't know if it's going to fit. You don't know if it's going to look right. Meyer The Hatter, you go in, they will keep working with you and stack up hat boxes to the ceiling, letting you try on hats until they find a hat that is perfect for you. And y'all, when I walked into Meyer The Hatter, they had this Stetson Temple Fedora sitting in the window, and it called to me, it beckoned to me like one of those New Orleans women of the night. It said, take me home, big boy, and by God, that's what I did. So look, like I said, if you're into hats and you're ever in New Orleans and you don't stop by Meyer The Hatter, you, my friend, are a complete and total dumbass. It is hat nirvana, and I recommend it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start this video. We're going to go ahead and open the box and take a look at what's inside, and then I'll tell you where we're going from there. I love this box. The Stetson Temple is a fedora. It's a dress hat. It's a high-end dress hat. It's not an inexpensive hat. So you get a nice hat box. All of the History Nerds hats are kept in the top of my closet. During winter, they're the felt and fur hats, wool hats. In the summer and spring, it's my straw hats. But all of my hats are in the top of the closet in their boxes. I love this box. It says here on the front of the box, handmade in the USA, born in America, worn around the world. Yes, the Stetson was made in America, but they are worn around the world. We will take the top of the box off, and inside we have our hat from Meyer The Hatter. Let me take the plastic off here real quick. We have our protector there. And inside the hat, we have the History Nerd's receipt. We'll talk about how much I paid for that in a little while. Meyer the Hatter, if you buy a hat, they give you one of these cards, and the intention is you're to keep this card tucked inside the hat band, the sweatband, and the card says, like hell it's yours. This hat belongs to, and you put your name on it, but you can get one like it from Meyer the Hatter, and that way if you forget your hat, people know who the hat belongs to. They also put in here for me a nice purple and gold Mardi Gras colored Meyer the Hatter New Orleans koozie with Sam Meyer, World War II veteran, 1924-2025, New Orleans, Louisiana on it. Yes, Sam is still alive. He's still alive and kicking at 101 years old. And here, my friends, here is my Stetson Temple hat. Like I said, it pays homage to the hats that Harrison Ford wore as Indiana Jones. It has a feather. I do not remember Indiana Jones wearing a feather, so we're going to take the feather out and put the hat here. Now look, before I kick the tires on this hat, I am the history nerd, and I feel compelled to share with y'all the history of the Indiana Jones hat that is so iconic, the hat that this hat is based upon. The way the hat came about was before they started filming the movie in 1980. George Lucas, the guy behind Star Wars, he produced and wrote the first Raiders of the Lost Ark movie. Steven Spielberg was the director, and they wanted the movie to invoke the adventure serials that they used to play at the beginning of kids' matinees in the 1930s and 1940s, where the hero would get himself in a predicament and you wouldn't know how he got out of it unless you came back the next week. They wanted Indiana Jones to invoke that spirit. They also knew that Charlton Heston, in a 1954 movie called A Secret of the Incas, wore a brown fedora hat and a leather jacket. And they thought it was a cool look. And Hollywood, they'll steal an idea in a heartbeat. It's Hollywood. Ain't no saints in Hollywood, folks. So they told Deborah Landis, who was the costume designer for the first Raiders of the Lost Ark, they said, go find a leather jacket and a hat for Harrison Ford to wear as Indiana Jones. So she gathered hundreds of hats. And it wasn't just fedoras. She got straw Panama hats. She got bowler hats. Every kind of hat you can think of. She gathered them in this dressing room and one day had Harrison Ford do nothing but put one hat on after another. Harrison Ford apparently has a long, narrow face. And it was difficult to find a hat that looked perfect, but he put on a brown fedora made by a London company. Let me cheat here. Herbert Johnson in London made a hat called the Poet. The model name of their fedora hat was the Poet. They put it on, and the minute he put it on, both Harrison Ford and Deborah Landis knew this was the correct hat. So she ordered a dozen of the hats and had them shipped to France, where production was going to begin. And when the hats arrived, she went and sat by the pool at the hotel where they were staying. Harrison Ford came and sat with her because they had become friends. And poolside, she used sandpaper, a wire brush, and mineral oil to age and scuff up both the hat and the leather jacket they had chosen, because by golly, Indiana Jones can't be running through the desert and crawling across the pyramids looking like he just pulled his hat and his leather jacket straight off the rack at some high-end luxury store. So the hat became iconic. Anytime you see a silhouette of a guy in a bomber jacket and a fedora hat, you know from behind, from just the silhouette, that it is Indiana Jones. It became that iconic. And they were used in every movie. Now, as you can imagine, an iconic hat like that was wildly popular once filming ended and the collector's market took over. So where are some of the hats that Harrison Ford wore in the movie today? One of them is in the Smithsonian Museum of American History in Washington, D.C. It's one of the hats that he wore in Raiders of the Lost Ark was donated to the Smithsonian. That's where it rightly belongs, next to Fonzie's jacket and Archie Bunker's chair, because it is an American icon. Another hat that he wore in Raiders of the Lost Ark was auctioned and sold for $522,000. A Temple of Doom hat, this is the second movie in the franchise, was auctioned and brought $630,000. And a third hat from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which was my favorite of the bunch because it's got Sean Connery in there. Sean Connery was the best James Bond. He was just a badass dude, one of my favorite actors. I loved Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Well, a hat that Harrison Ford wore in that movie also went up for auction, but it brought only $195,000. Now, the same luxury firm, was it Herbert Johnson, did not make the hats for all 5 of the Indiana Jones movies, 3 of which are good. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, good movies. The Crystal Skull and the Timex Watch of Destiny, or whatever the last one, the last 2 just plain out sucked, y'all. So just watch, if you've never seen Indiana Jones, watch the first 3. The last 2, just don't watch them. They're unwatchable, especially the last one. The guy's like 90 years old and they had to make him look younger through AI, and they've got him running, from bad guys at 90 years old. It's just a terrible movie. Herbert Johnson that firm did not make all of the hats for all of the movies. There is an Australian company that lots of y'all have asked me, please review some hats from, I keep getting the name wrong, Akubra Hats from Australia. They have made hats for the Indiana Jones movies. And some hobbyists, and I'll talk about the hobbyists in a minute, some guys who were just huge Indiana Jones fans and knew everything there was to know about this Dadburn hat. They made hats that were used in the last couple of movies. So that brings us to this hat, the Stetson Temple. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, y'all, this is not an exact replica of Harrison Ford's hat from the Indiana Jones movies. There are message boards, there are nerds out there, y'all, who know everything about these hats. And they'll tell you, well, no, the brim shape was different. And 2 centimeters above the hat band in the 3rd scene of Temple of Doom, there was a blemish. And this hat does not show the proper blemish on the hat. Nerds, y'all, uber nerds, okay? Guys, I know you like Indiana Jones, but hey, get a life, okay? Cancel your OnlyFans account, move out of your parents' basement, go find a woman, Get a life, guys. There's more to life than the Indiana Jones hat. So please understand, this is not an exact replica of Harrison Ford's hat. But damn it, it's a cool looking brown fedora hat, which is good enough for me. Okay? So let's talk a little bit about the Stetson Temple fedora. This is not an inexpensive hat. Another way to say that was, this is an expensive hat. This hat retails for $265. Why, history nerd, is your brown fedora so dad-burned expensive? It's because it's made out of what they call their Royal Deluxe fur felt, which means basically rabbit fur. It's not beaver fur, which is the highest end. This is a rabbit fur hat, which is still very nice and very expensive. We've got the Go Grain hat brand on the hat. It's got a Stetson button on the side. The crown, let me cheat here again. The crown is 4.5 inches. It's got a pinched front with a center crease in the top of the hat. In addition to this color, which is known as mink, I've said it again. I've said it 100 times, folks. Why can't Stetson just say, it's brown? No, this is mink. It comes in mink. It comes in caribou. What color do you think caribou is? A caribou, probably brown. No, au contraire, mon ami. Caribou is gray. Now, the caribou hat is gray with a black hat band. If you think about it, Indiana Jones did sometimes wear a gray fedora when he was dressed in a suit at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Here I am. I'm sounding like one of those nerds with the OnlyFans account who obsesses about Harrison Ford wore a gray hat at the end of Raiders. So you can get you a gray hat, and you can still rock it out as Harrison Ford when you're wearing a suit. So it comes in mink, brown, caribou, gray. It comes in navy, comes in sage. What color is sage? Dark green. And tawny. What color is tawny? Tan. Why they can't say green and tan, I don't know. But it comes in mink, caribou, navy, sage, and tawny. Like I said, it's got the 4.5 inch crown with the pinch front and the center crease. Let's talk about the brim. The brim's kind of cool. All right, it's got a 2 5/8 inch brim in the front and back. But the interesting thing is, the brim is 2 3/8 inches on the side. And that's what gives it the sleek fedora, cool guy look, and it also makes it easier for you to pop the crown down, which we'll talk about in a minute. So the crown, 2 5/8 front and back, 2 3/8 on the side. I talked about the Go Grain hat band. You got a Stetson pin button on the side. We will flip it over. It's got a high-end sweatband in it. Some Stetson sweatbands, you grab it and it feels like your grandpa's Naugahyde Lazy Boy recliner fake leather. This is sheepskin leather. And when you touch this hat band, you can tell that it is high-end leather. This is not grandpa's Naugahyde Lazy Boy. Here on the side, it says Royal Deluxe Quality, made in the USA, Stetson. On the front of it, it says The Temple. And in the side, because I bought it at Meyer The Hatter, it's got a Meyer The Hatter label sewn on the inside. Y'all, I'm going to go back to visit that again. If you ever get a chance to buy a hat from a real professional hatter that has tons of hats in stock that can give you customer service, It's a great experience and one that you will become addicted to. Like I said, when I was in New Orleans, I had no plans to buy a hat. Walked in Meyer The Hatter, I walked out with a $265 Fedora just because of the service they give. The back has the bow to let you know which is the front and back. It's got my size 7 3/4 because yes, I've said it many times, the history nerd has a giant head. You've got the satin liner, and the liner reads Royal Deluxe Quality, New York, London, Paris, John B. Stetson Company. This hat, y'all, it really does evoke, I got some leftover feather smudge there, trying to get the feathers out. It evokes quality. I mean, when you pick it up, when you handle it, when you look at it, I hope it shows up on camera that this is really a quality hat. I guess what I will do now is what I always do in my videos, and that is try it on for y'all. So let me put it on. This one is a little tight, and the reason is it is a round cut rather than the oval cut. And I have an oval head, but if I stretch it just a little bit, it will fit perfectly. That's the other thing. If you go to a hatter, you can say, I need an oval, I need a round, and they will have those in stock. I didn't think to ask, but I got a round, but it feels good. Now here's the deal, y'all. This hat was meant to be worn like this. You look like a badass if you wear your fedora with the crown popped down like this. Now, if you want to, you can wear your fedora with the brim like this, but you're gonna look like some young hipster jackass who likes to vape THC cartridges and, you know, listen to weird music and, hey everybody, I'm hipster dude. I like to smoke pot and go to crazy concerts. No, you don't want that. I'm 51 years old, people. I don't want the hipster look. I want the Indiana Jones, Frank Sinatra, I've been around the world look. And I'm hoping, y'all, I'm hoping right now that this hat makes me look like Harrison Ford, a young Harrison Ford in the first Raiders of the Lost Ark. But I'm afraid, just because of who I am, I look more like actor Jack Black in Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones cosplay. But no matter how I look, it's a cool hat. I'm happy I bought it. Go to Meyer The Hatter. Go to any hatter where you can get real customer service. You know, it's winter here in Alabama. It's been 75 and 80 degrees because it's Alabama. It's supposed to get down to the mid 40s by day after tomorrow. So I have a feeling I will be wearing the hell out of this hat this winter when it's cool enough. So anyway, y'all, that's the video. I'm a little bit out of practice. Hope it doesn't show very much. I'm hoping to do a couple more videos here very soon. But let me say this. I have missed y'all. I'm glad to be back. I need you to do 3 things for me. I need you to give me the Fonzie thumbs up, hit subscribe, and then ring that bell so the next time I fire up the old YouTube gizmo, you will be among the first to know. My friends, I end all of my videos by saying, be good, be well, be happy. But today I'm going to add something else. Like many of y'all, I watched the blogger Adam the Woo, seemed like a good guy. I'm a travel guy. He used to travel around. He would go to a lot of the places I would like to visit. I enjoyed Adam the Woo's videos. He sadly passed away in his sleep at age 51. So let me just borrow from Adam the Woo and say thank all of you for watching. God bless you, and the vlog is over.